of STEM. And can you take that forward and not limit yourself? Like, give yourself possibilities. Right? Make your possibilities wise. Dream big, really big, and then when you get somewhere, you'll say, yes, I achieved my goals. And that's how you should measure your success. It's by how big you are dreaming and how bold you are going after your dreams.
CEO students, you guys have any questions since this is your area of expertise? This is not the time to be shy. You guys have someone that's really great here in front of you that's giving you great advice about careers. Thanks, Malia.
What interests you most about your job?
So I love technology. That's really what I'm passionate about. And then I combine that with my love for people. And when I work every day, I think about the relationships that I'm building. It's not just about I've solved this problem. If I am destroying relationships, that problem is not solved for me, right? So I like working with people, and in customer service, we really get to make an impact on how customers view us. I don't talk to customers daily, but what I do will eventually make the customer happy or unhappy. So I have to work really hard to make that happen.
What's the hardest problem you face?
The hardest problem. So I think, life-wise, probably the decision to come here in 2001 is one of my hardest problems that I faced. It helped me learn a lot about me, how much I'm willing to take risks in life. And that learning, it applies at work. Because when you're working, sometimes you have to take risks. When you take risks, some of the things will fail. Right? And you have to be okay with that as you're working. Because it's not always about everybody must get the A or everybody must get the A. It's not always about that, right? It's about when something doesn't work, what is the next thing you have to do to get out of this situation and move on to the next one? So everything you do in life, that's why I mentioned this sacrifice muscle. Everything you do in life, it has a very long term. Like some of the things we think about is, for the short term I benefit, but for the long term the consequences are very hard. Or you can reverse that and say, short term I have some consequences that I don't like. I want to go play this video game. But the consequence is a long-term consequence because I'm going to get a bad grade, right? So you have to choose which side you want to be on. You want to have the long-term benefit, or you want to have the long-term consequence.
Yeah, I do have. So now that, congratulations on accomplishing a goal. That's because that's a lot of steps that you took, and I'm really proud of you. What is your new goal? Now that you accomplished it, what's your next goal?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, I never stop making goals. And my goals are always big. Small, I feel like I'll achieve it tomorrow, so that's not challenging enough. And so my next goal is to be a CEO at a major technology company. So that's what I'm working on.
Good guy to know, right? Might get a job someday from Benny.
Yes.
Benny, I have a quick question. What do you recommend for the students in this room that may be interested in STEM careers? What can they do now? And a lot of students will be moving into high school in a year or two. What can they do with their education and their grades and possibly college choices to make sure they're set up for success in entering a STEM career?
Yeah, that's a very good question. One, you really have to be interested in STEM before you tackle it. Right? If you're just doing it for some other reason, it could be you think that STEM pays good money, or STEM has some other liberty that you're looking for. Those are wrong reasons, and there's nothing you can do to really fix that problem. But as I said, all of you have the potential and the ability to get into STEM. The one thing is, make sacrifices now to really understand what you're learning. It's easy in middle school, high school, to say, I'm just going to do the bare minimum and understand this maths issues or biology class stuff. But then what happens tomorrow? After you've done this high level studies and you got your A, but maybe you didn't pay attention to it, what's next, right? So, because everything builds on what you're learning today. So keep your focus on your studies. Don't just do it for the sake of that A. Do it for the sake of really deeply understanding what you're learning. And then as you build on it, your appetite for that subject area is going to keep growing and growing until someday you say, this is what I want to do in college, and this is what I want to do for work. And then start looking for schools that are specializing in those areas. Right? As parents, I told you I have kids. I want my sons to go to school at the University of Washington. That's what I want. But the reality is, it has to align with their desire. It has to align with what they want to study. So if they find a school, my oldest son wants to be a dentist. If he finds a school that's much better than UW for the dentist school, I want to encourage him to go there. I don't want to, make his options limited because I want him at home. Right? So think about those things. What the area that you want to focus on, find the schools that are really good at it, and then you can achieve your goals.
Any burning questions to wrap up?
That's why I'm here.
One more question.
Sure.
So if you go into the UW, you have a dorm or something, and then you have to pay for your job. Like it's like a dorm, college dorm, and you have a training for a job.
Yeah.
Training.
So as you're going to college, if you go to college, let's say near your parents, you have the option to live at home. You don't necessarily have to live in the dorm. But when you're going far away, that's when you get into the dorm life. And your first year might be where you're learning about living with other people outside your siblings and your parents. That will be a little bit challenging, but there's some learning, some growing, right? As you get older, you learn to experience those things, and then as you grow, you make choices of, okay, these are the kind of people I want to live with, or don't want to live with, either way. And then also, when you're in school, you can think about, do I want to get this part-time job on the side and still do good in school and focus on everything that I want to do? Don't lose sight of your goal. Right? The small stuff is not the important stuff. So you have to go after your goal, and then other things that are kind of nice to have, think about them and prioritize whether they should have them or should not have them.
What about the teachers in the room? Any questions from any of you that you might have a question about Microsoft or STEM careers? Or anything for the students in the room?
I have one. So I think a lot of times we hear about certain aspects of the STEM career, like certain places, like being extremely, extremely competitive and hard to get into. And I think that a lot of times that can, like that perception can turn us off from it, like, oh, STEM's hard for one to start with, and the competition to get the job is hard. What sort of advice is there out for that? Like, how do we navigate those sorts of things?
Yeah, that's a good point. The competition is hard when there's only one or two specific places you want to get into. Like for me, I wanted to be at Microsoft, so from 2001 until 2005, it's a long journey. It's the time period where I could have given up and said, no, I'm just going to go back to my old life, right? So don't be afraid of competition. Competition actually makes you a better person. It makes you figure out what are the things I must do to get ahead of my competition, right, of the rest of the people. How do I stand out? So you can focus on how you stand out. And then the other thing is, don't just focus on a single path to get where you want to go. Sometimes you have to step away from your goals, but they're getting you closer. They might appear to be veering off, but like the first technology company I worked for was a company that made chips for cell phones It was a startup company, but it was something that